jump in real quick. Was this before? I mean, I had read that you guys did the Atlanta Falcons theme song for the season. Was this before or after that?
That was 2 days after. We did the theme song. Well, wait a minute. No, I take that back. It was about a week and a half because we actually had a show. We had to do a show in August. No, I'm sorry. We did one show in September, and it was Phoenix, and we did it the day before. Because the season had already started.
Right.
We recorded the song, but we hadn't done the video.
The video.
So they were trying to haul ass. They were like, we got to get the video done, So before we left Phoenix to do that radio show, we went to Atlanta, spent a day doing the video, and then they edited it up and everything. And the funny thing about that is ever since we shot that, they haven't lost the game.
I think they
haven't lost the game. Haven't lost the game, and I'm like, well, all right, I guess, the luck of the Sevendust continues.
To change things around.
It was cool, man. We just flew into town, and, they had a bunch of cheerleaders hanging out, and, they had fucking Falcon and the four-wheeler and all the shit, and, we just ran around and, had a good time. I mean, it was kind of, we went in, I think we knocked the song out probably 5 or 6 hours. LJ had already sang it. He sang it first. We went in, we did the music to it, put that together, and then we showed up and did the video, and, it was cool. I mean, I don't know if we would do it for just any team, but being that it was the Falcon hookup and everything, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I mean,
Plus, it's kind of fun to be able to do something different like that.
Yeah.
Right on. Which one are you looking forward to? Venue-wise?
Venue-wise?
Yeah, coming up. Coming up, you're like, man, that's going to be a badass show. I can feel it.
Tour in Australia.
Ooh.
That one's going to be cool, because that one is, I think it's called Soundwave.
Yeah.
It's basically their big day out tour, and it's 5 cities over 10 days, and I think there's like 30 bands. There's 4 stages that are on it. I mean, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Australia is such a cool place to visit and hang as it is. It's always kind of like a paid vacation when you do that too.
Totally.
The distances between the cities are so long that you got to fly everywhere. So usually you play on a Monday and a Wednesday. You do every other day and then travel in between. So, but we're really looking forward to doing that because we've only been over to Australia twice. We did one headline run, which was cool. 4 or 5 days, and then we did a short run with Ozzy. I think it was like 3 or 4 days, which that was cool too. I mean, a lot of people didn't give a shit about it. They just want to see Zach Wild out there, just shred up one side and down the other.
Of course.
But this will be cool because it'll be the first time that we get to go over there and do something, totally different. Completely out of the, no disrespect to Ozzy, but when you're opening for Ozzy, most of the fans don't give a shit. They want to hear Black Sabbath. They want to hear the guitar solo. They want to hear all the, all the hits. So,
exactly.
This tour will be something for us to look forward to for sure. Plus, there's so many different bands that we're going to be friends with. I mean, it's like, and we know so many of them. People are sending us flyers and stuff. Hey, check it out. We're going to be on tour together.
Nice.
So,
I lived in Australia for sure. About a year. And it was
Australia's crazy, man. I don't think I liked it.
I don't think you did either.
I just shut it when I pulled that on. Don't know.
What's on the most popular song? Right?
Most popular song?
Or the one that you listen to the most recently. What's your song of choice right now?
That's a tough one because I have a 5-year-old too, so I've got all my stuff and all her stuff kind of existing in the same space. So it's funny, you'll hear Lamb of God, and then you'll hear right. Exactly. I don't know, man. I mean, probably the new Lamb of God record. Actually, it's probably the one that I've been spinning the most. It's good record. Kind of in writing mode, and I kind of put the blinders on when I get in writing mode. I only listen to a few different things. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but each time that I kind of go into writing mode, I kind of try different things. Sometimes I listen to all kinds of shit. Sometimes I only listen to very, very select things. And right now, I'm just kind of dialed very, very into that record.
That's a good record to be dialed into.
It's just smoking guitar players. And, LJ listens to it. He was like, I just don't even like the singer. And I'm like, what? There's a singer? I didn't even know. There's shit. There is. There's someone barking over all this shit. But it's either that or... I mean, it's that, or it's probably something from Miley Cyrus, I'm sure, because my daughter wears my iPod out when we're at the house. She puts it on the little dock. She's got her little playlist in there. She's really into Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, and anything that's, Taylor Swift, all that shit.
Of course. Well, good for her, though.
You put random on my iPod and it'll be like, how did you go from Meshuggah to Christina Aguilera? I don't understand how that happened.
Nice. Well, you speak of your daughter. What's life at home, off of the tour, outside the band? Like, your hobbies at home, away from everything.
Hobbies at home?
What do you like to do?
Hang with her as much as I can. I mean, I play a lot of guitar when I'm at home. Whether I'm writing or whether I'm not writing, it's kind of one of those it's a hobby.
Right.
It occupies a lot of time. Other than that, I really don't do shit. I'm a big movie buff. I watch, just about anything I can get my hands on. I try to do it at the house, too, especially like the kids' movies and stuff like that. I try to make sure those are all loaded up. How to Train Your Dragon. I cut that today.
Yeah,
that's an awesome movie. A couple buddies of mine were like, you might want to see it just ahead of time just because it's kind of scary, see if, And I'm like, oh, shit, she watched Avatar. She could hang out with us. She's definitely cool with this, But yeah, home life is just kind of putting the daddy hat on and just kind of disappearing in that world, playing a lot of guitar and doing a lot of that stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
To touch on that, I mean, what would be like probably your favorite movie right now?
Favorite movie right now? For shock value or both? All right. Probably our favorite movie lately is probably Inglourious Basterds. That one just kind of, no matter where we drop into it for whatever reason, that one just, I mean, if it's at the beginning, I watch the whole thing. If it's at the very end, I watch whatever's left of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That one and Human Centipede, which is by far the most disturbing movie I've ever seen.
I was about to say, how about that Human Centipede movie?
I'm like, yeah. That one's fun because there's only like 3 of us that have seen it on the bus.
Yeah.
So there's always that one guy who's like, yeah, I want to watch that. It's like, let's go put it on for a few minutes and see how you feel about that. Yeah, that's by far probably the sickest. And part 2 is supposed to be ridiculous too, because they're going to do 12 of them, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
We walked through Blockbuster the other night and they actually had that up.
Really?
Yeah. I was shocked. I mean, there's no way. She showed it to me. We've been watching a horror movie marathon. She was like, check this out, and I was like, no.
The thing about that movie is when you watch the trailer, they lead you to believe that there's like all this struggle and the whole backstory, and then it kind of culminates with the centipede at the end.
Right.
And that's not how it goes down at all. I mean, the centipede happens early, and everyone's looking at me like, there's a lot of movie left. I'm like, oh yeah. The centipede is the star of the film. It's not like this big build-up, and then they're just going to end it, and then you just figure out what happens in part 2. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of interaction with the centipede. Yeah, that movie is fucked up. That movie's
I don't know what they were smoking when they did that.
I don't either, man. I'm telling you, man. But yeah, Inglourious Basterds probably, and Iron Man 2, we got that one kind of kicking right now.
Definitely.
And I'm real excited about How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm not going to lie, I think that
I love that movie.
I did too.
I'm telling you, man. Monsters, Inc., all that shit. My cousin actually, he animates for those. He actually animates for Pixar. And it's funny because he used to work for DreamWorks. And I keep telling him, like, I'm really excited about this movie. He's like, yeah, I bet you are. It's my whole company. Like, hey, man, the shit's cool, Pixar shit's cool, too, but... that was just, I don't know, man, it's just cool how many different kinds of dragons they have. And you look at it and you're like, man, that looks like that one dude in Monsters, Inc.,
Yeah.
Like, half the monsters kind of resemble each other and stuff, same artist, same vision and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a killer movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love that movie. We all have kids, so we're all kind of sensitive to that. It's funny, you walk in the back lines of the bus, and there'll be 3 of us sitting there, and we're watching Phineas and Ferb. Like,
I love that show.
Dude, that show's amazing. That's probably my favorite show that my daughter watches.
I love that show.
She watches iCarly and stuff like that, and I'm like, I wish she put that one on. We're just like,
I can get into this.
Have you gotten a Perry Five Close T-shirt yet.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's searching pretty hard for that one.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. There's Platypus.
Yeah. I just showed my geekdom. I'm sorry.
All good, dude. All good.
Yeah,
It was good, man. Good stuff.
If you don't mind, I want to switch gears a little bit. Ask a question. How do you guys think you've grown, both personally and professionally as a band, and individually, after the fall of Wine Dark?
You know what? I think we come to realize that it doesn't matter who puts the record out, what label name is attached to it, whether it's a big one, whether it's a small one. Our band has a certain space. We fit a certain area of the music business, and I don't think it really matters who, what label is attached to us, or even if we have a label. I mean, there's been times where we haven't actually had a record deal, and it's funny, you go out on tour and you're doing the same shows with the same amount of people, and I'm like, wait a second, do we really even need a record label? Like, is there any point in it in the first place? I think we've just grown to realize that the business it's a lot simpler than a lot of people make it out to be. I mean, the art of selling a record, I think, is pretty much dead. I think it's a done thing. I think it's one of those things that just, it's kind of fitting that the record labels took advantage of the situation so much for so long that now that they're completely indispensable. Like, you really don't need them. Bands ask me all the time, like, how do you get a record deal? I'm like, for the love of God, don't. Do yourself a favor. Do not get a record deal. Get some capital up, make a good video, get it on the internet. Do your own stuff. Keep as much as you can yourself, I think we've just grown to realize that, the business is pretty much what you make it, especially once you get to a point that we're, it's that, what's that old joke? You spend your whole life to try to get a record deal and the whole rest of your life to try to get out of your record deal. We've learned a lot of things not to do, but at the same time, it's like, people ask, like, if you could do that all over again, would you redo it? And I don't know if I really would, because I think we're all here because of those decisions that we made. You got to fuck up sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, make the right calls the whole time. But for us, it's just a matter of realizing that, at the end of the day, as long as we come out and play, our fans are going to show up, and, just selling the records will work its way out one way or another. I mean, I think eventually it'll be to the point where you can just kind of use it more as a promotional thing than really trying to make money on it in the first place. Because once it goes on the internet, once it's out there and it's streamed, it's, it's like people, they act like it's the fucking end of the world. And I'm like, you can make a record for $50,000, a really good one. If you want to spend an extra $10,000, you get 10 Jensen to master the thing, and it sounds amazing. $60,000, put it up on the internet and give it away for free. Don't spend any more money at that point. Best advertisement is, hey, it's free. Just go to our website and you can download it. You know what I mean? Instead, these labels want to try to get you to, you got to spend $2.7 million and all this marketing. You got to shoot video, and you got to go over here, and you got to buy Rolling Stone and spin. And, now it's all like, if you dial your website in and get the word out on your page, just don't spend the money on it, So I think the thing that we've learned is the fact that it's not, it's not the music business that's dying. It's the selling of the actual records that's dying. Because people still want to hear live music.
Oh, yeah.
They still want to see bands. They still want to hear the music that, they might not spend money on it like they used to. But then I don't think you should really ask them to. I mean, it's like, everyone's like, well, there's right and there's wrong. I'm like, yeah, and then there's reality, and then there's not reality. Reality is computers are everywhere.
Yeah.
So you either adapt or go do something else, Go make something that they can't take from you, if you're so worried about it, I mean, it's kind of sad to think that the generation of the album, is gone.